Education has been, in one way or another, part of probably monasteries for most of their history in the West. It's not, a school such as this is not foreseen in the rule, but remember this is a millennium and a half tradition almost, so it's developed into that, particularly the Bavarian background from which this abbey comes. This particular abbey has a school because of Father Jeremiah O'Connell. Father Jeremiah was a priest of the Charleston, South Carolina diocese, but was living in Charlotte in the 1870s and would ride horseback on circuit to visit the very few and scattered Catholic families in the Western Carolinas. One of his stops was at St. Joseph's Catholic Church, about 7 miles north of here, which is one of the oldest standing Catholic churches in the state, built in the 1840s for a community of Irish gold miners. And he saw this property up for sale at bankruptcy auction during Reconstruction, and had the idea of a religious community and, as he put it, a literary institution to form a focal point for the few and scattered Catholics in the Western Carolinas. On the one hand, a school allows us to live in community and continue that common life of prayer and work, the school being the outreach of our work. St. Benedict wants the monks to work. But also, if our life is to seek God by a life of prayer and working in common, then also education is simply another way of seeking the truth, which is what we're seeking in our prayer, and not necessarily in the monastic life in an academic setting, but the two are quite congenial. It was Pope John Paul II, St. John Paul II now, who in his encyclical Fides et Ratio told us and reminded us in the Catholic tradition that faith and reason are the two wings by which man ascends to the truth. It's an intellectual tradition which goes back to the very foundation of the university system in Western culture. It represents, as I mentioned earlier, the integration of faith and reason to seek what's true, authentically incarnate that and incorporate that in its service, first of all, to the larger church community, and through that to the larger human community. That document is a beautiful setting out of the role of service of a Catholic college or university, specifically as an intellectual community and an educational community in service towards the larger civic community. I think the student who thrives best is someone who's coming to get an education and not simply a job training. Someone who's willing to engage with their professors, who are actually here because they want to teach, and to figure out why these highly educated people think the way they do about subjects aside from the ones they teach, who has an idea that they have something, a student who has something they can offer, is willing to sort of step outside their comfort zone and get engaged, and to see really what type of person are they going to be, not just what they want to do. In the Benedictine context, it's all one person who's being educated and all the aspect of that person's life.